even if you put the mic, yeah, there you go.
How's this? Okay. So, as I was saying, many people think that the Fischer House is a restaurant, and so I really like to be able to educate the whole population about Fischer House because they have been around since 1990. We have 62 houses in operation, and what a Fischer House is, you can't hear me? I feel like I'm yelling. Okay, so a Fischer House is a home away from home for military members and their families. So when a loved one is in the hospital, these houses are built on military installations, VA installations, and active military bases. So they're typically within walking distance, and so it makes it very convenient for the family members to be by the bedside. Zachary Fischer has always said that family is the best medicine, and I totally agree with that. Houses are typically 5,000 to 17,000 square feet. Okay. All right. They are donated by the Fischer family and the Fischer House Foundation. Each house is designed to provide 8 to 21 suites per house. There are some locations that do have more than one house at that installation. Like, for instance, in Bethesda, there are 5 houses. Here in San Diego, there are 2 houses. And so they feature a common kitchen, dining room, family room, and a living room. Each suite has their own living space, which is not decorated the same, so it's not cookie cutter like a hotel is. It's put together by a company out of Texas that they're professional decorators, and so they've been furnished, not sparing any money at all. And they're absolutely beautiful, beautiful houses. The houses today are 100% handicap accessible, and that includes elevators as well, because we do get veterans who have been injured or are bilateral amputees, and their wife might be in the hospital, and so they come and they stay with us, and so they can go back and forth. Or it can be, it doesn't have to be the military member that's in the hospital that in order for a family to stay. Like I said, the program began in 1990, and it's offered more than 5 million days of lodging to more than over 180,000 families. In our house, the average stay is 10 days, but we have a really awesome neonatal intensive care unit, and so we have a lot of preemie babies. So we may have a family that comes and spends 2 days or 3 days, and then we may have a family that will spend up to 6 months. And this is all free of charge to them. Last fiscal year, we had housed about 700 families, and fortunately, 5% were war-related. 95% were non-war related. So we're starting to see those numbers tip quite a bit actually, which is, a blessing. We have, last year we had 287 volunteers, and they put in 1,200 hours of volunteer services. The Fischer Houses, they're given to the government as a gift, that particular installation, and then that military base takes care of the operations and the maintenance of the house. Fischer House Foundation is a nonprofit organization which assists in coordinating of private and public support. Families are admitted on a first-come, first-served basis, and the things that are taken into consideration is the actual medical condition of the patient, whether they're terminal, critical, serious, and typically we don't house people that are having diagnostic procedures if they're just coming for one day. We're a very limited staff, so it makes it tough to turn rooms over really quickly. And so most everyone is under a lot of stress when they're in the Fischer House because it's usually pretty serious. They're in ICU or, like I said, the NICU. Another thing that's taken into consideration is that the financial aspect. So junior enlisted personnel are selected before senior enlisted personnel, which makes sense. People need to be at least 40 miles away. So we see a lot of people from Oceanside. We have a lot of young families from Oceanside that are with us for quite some time. Status as far as priority, active duty is first, then it's retirees and veterans. And you know, it's just magic how it works. We have 18 suites, and I might have a wait list of 2 or 3 people, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 people will get discharged, and so we're able to just bring them right in. So typically they don't wait very long to get into the house. Let's see. It used to be that each family was charged $10 a night to stay, but now the foundation has started to pick that up. So what they do is we give them our numbers for every room that's occupied, $10 a night. They will give us back a quarterly check in order for us to make things happen within the house. And really speaking, it is not a whole lot of money to make things happen within the house. Another source of funds that we receive is from the combined federal campaign. And so we do pretty good with that, but still we rely on our volunteers so much just to help us out, and people that will bring in meals. They'll cook meals and deliver them, and the families will come home to a nice hot meal, and you can just see the relief on the families' faces when they have the lasagna laid out and the French bread and the salad, and you know, they don't have to go to any extra stress by cooking their own meal. Let's see. We have in our house, we have a manager, an assistant manager, and 2 housekeepers. And those 2 housekeepers take care of 20,000 square feet every day. Yeah, it's a big, big job. It is a really big job. So there are times when our volunteers will come in and give them a hand. Like maybe they'll clean out the refrigerators, like just break them all down and wipe them all out. So they're a true blessing to us. But that's the Fischer House. Does anybody have any questions?
It's within walking distance of the hospital?
Yes, ma'am. Ours is. I started out in Camp Lejeune, and theirs was probably about, I'm going to say, 3/4 of a mile away. So that was a little bit more difficult, because if you have elderly people that are maybe there's a active or a retired military man that's had a stroke, and his wife is elderly. So that to me, I thought that house was put too far away from the hospital. So what we do is we have golf carts.